All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. Okay, we had some great interviews this morning, right?
Yes.
But this we saved the best for last today. I'm so looking forward to this. You know, the Hubble telescope has been up there 25 years?
That is amazing.
It's just hard to believe. Just the idea of putting a telescope in space. The images that we've seen from this thing are unbelievable. The one that always comes to mind is the one where they pointed it at like this dark spot where they thought there was nothing. And they found gazillions of galaxies, and it's just an amazing thing. John Troeltzsch, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he's on the phone. He's the Ball Aerospace and Technologies Corporation Senior Program Manager. He worked on 3 of Hubble's science instruments. I guess that's what my notes say. He's the mission manager for Hubble's eyeglasses. Really? What is that? He received NASA's Exceptional Service Medal for the Spitzer Telescope and Kepler missions. And before I say anything else that's wrong, I'm just going to go right to him. 25th anniversary of the Hubble telescope is tomorrow. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
What a great thing. I love this thing. How big is the Hubble telescope?
So it's the size of a school bus, about 40 feet long, pretty big, right, for satellites. It's a large satellite.
And how do we see the images that it sends us? How do we see that?
Well, so Hubble has a big mirror, and I'll come back and talk about that in a little bit, but it collects light, scoops up light that's come all the way across the universe, sometimes for billions of years. Hubble captures that light, bounces it into a camera. The camera works not too different than a camera you might have on your phone to digitize it, turn it to bits, and the bits are sent to the ground via radio. They end up here in Baltimore at the Space Telescope Science Institute, where astronomers pore over them and figure out what it all means.
And when it was first sent up there was problems with it being able to focus. What was that?
Oh yeah, so I started on Hubble in the mid-'80s before it was launched. Ball Aerospace built one of the original instruments on Hubble, and I was in my 20s. You know, we're so excited. We're going to get this thing in space. It's going to get above the atmosphere and do what's never been seen before. Launched it up, 25 years ago, and within a few weeks realized it was out of focus.
Oh.
Devastating. I mean, it just crushed us because we were so excited, and then we were just we're on late night TV, we're in the editorial cartoons, with Mr. Magoo, can't see our own.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. So, what, we had to fix it.
And the way it was fixed is astronauts literally had hands on? Is that what happened? I can't remember.
Yeah. So NASA was able to figure out what was wrong with the mirror, and then at Ball Aerospace, we worked with NASA to design a replacement camera, and I'll come back to that in a minute, but replacement is a key part of Hubble's longevity. We designed a thing about the size of a telephone booth that had these special mirrors inside that would exactly compensate for the error in Hubble's mirror. So in December of 1993, a space shuttle went up. The astronaut took this instrument we had built, did a spacewalk, took an old instrument out, put our new one in. A few weeks later, we confirmed that Hubble was fixed.
Wow. So you kind of answered a question, I guess, that I was going to ask regarding, you said replacing things is the key to its success. Does that mean, like right now, my camera is way better than the one I had 25 years ago? So the camera part of the Hubble, is that updated, or is it, or was NASA just so far ahead of the rest of us that it doesn't matter?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, think about the world in 1980, right? There were no personal computers. We were still using film in our cameras, right? So Hubble was designed so that the shuttle could go up about every 5 years and refurbish it, and that gave us the ability. At Ball Aerospace, we've now built 7 instruments over the last 35 years. All 5 instruments on Hubble right now were built at Ball Aerospace. Those instruments have modern charge-coupled device detectors in them, just like your phone does.
Wow.
So they could fix what was wrong, but they could also put in current new technology. And that's allowed Hubble, at 25, to still be state-of-the-art when so much other stuff is obsolete.
You also created 2 star trackers. Now, where are those? Are those on the Hubble as well?
Yep, those are still up on the Hubble, and they allow it to, they help it orient itself so it can point in space.
So we don't have the shuttle program anymore. Do you have another way? Do we use those things from SpaceX or one of those other things to bring things to the Hubble?
Good question. So the last servicing mission was in 2009, and the shuttle's now retired, as you said. So what do we do? Well, the plan, and plans can always change, is just to let Hubble live out its life. It's got about 5 to 10 years left. The good news is that NASA is working on the James Webb Space Telescope, and Ball Aerospace has already finished building the mirrors for that, and it'll launch in 2018. So Hubble will pass the torch off to the James Webb Space Telescope later this decade, early next decade, and James Webb will continue with the same, and it's actually much more powerful, 50 times as powerful as Hubble. So you can imagine what we'll see then.
You know, I would love to have been in the room when you did some of those experiments, when you pointed it in places of the sky that looked like there was nothing, and then have you and your other colleagues talk about it, over my head, and then sit with you with a cup of coffee and say, "Now, can you talk to me about what did all of that mean?" Can you do that for me right now? Would you be able to tell us maybe something that was very exciting that you all saw and break it down for the layperson?
So that deep field that you're talking about is just so fascinating. So, I think it was 1995. They decided to point the telescope at a blank part of the sky, right? That seems so counterintuitive, right? Why go to where the blank spot is? They stared there for 10 days to see what was way, way, way far away. And what they found was 3,000 galaxies, some as old as 10 billion years old. The universe is about 14 billion years old. So we're looking back in time at light that's been traveling across the universe for 10 billion years. And it's just covered in these galaxies. How cool is that, right? So James Webb's going to do some of the same stuff, and it should be able to look back almost to the beginning of the universe, so when the first stars were forming. So we've got this incredible time machine that allows us to see the early birth of our universe.
So I have a really dopey question. If we can see back to the beginning of the universe, I mean, technically or theoretically, could we see ourselves? I mean, is the light coming to us from 14 billion years ago us? I mean, are we there somewhere?
Oh, I don't know, right? I mean, if all the matter in the universe has been recycled, then everything you see came from a star, and all those stars came from the beginning of the universe. So yes, I mean, in fact, looking back,
isn't that fascinating?
That was us a long time ago.
Well, when you do retire the Hubble then, and it has outlived its usefulness after the James Webb is up there, will you bring it back to Earth to put in the Smithsonian, parts of it, or will you destroy it, or just allow it to become space debris?
So you're going to make me cry, because I'd always hoped they'd be able to bring it back and put it in the Smithsonian, but without the shuttle and it's so big and heavy, there's no way to do that. So its orbit is slowly decaying, and the plan, and like I said, plans can always change, is to go up and put a little rocket on it so that you can target it when it burns back up in the atmosphere. But the idea is that it will be deorbited into the atmosphere. Now, 10 years from now, who knows, right? Maybe somebody's gonna want to go up and do another servicing, because you could boost it to a higher orbit and maybe even repair it again.
Are you able to look at the moon with it? I mean, is that a stupid question, or even any of the planets?
It's a good question, but it's too close and too bright.
Okay. So, what about like Pluto? Do we use it for Pluto and the far?
Spectacular pictures of Pluto. And Ball Aerospace has a camera on a satellite that's going to encounter with Pluto this summer. So we're about to do a flyby of Pluto and actually get Hubble-like pictures, really close-up pictures of Pluto for the first time this summer.
It is the pictures that fascinate us as lay people. I mean, that's it. That's what I love. I love the video. I love watching a video where somebody like you is narrating it, and I'm sort of understanding it, but nothing. But if anything else, I'm just mesmerized by the fact that you were able to get pictures from so far away and so long ago.
Yes.
John, I don't know if I said your last name correct. Is it Troeltzsch?
It's Troeltzsch.
Troeltzsch, okay. Well, not too far off. The 25th anniversary of the Hubble telescope is tomorrow. Are we celebrating? Do we go to a website? How do we do this?
So if you want to learn more about Hubble, you can go to Google Hubble Space Telescope, go to the NASA website. To learn more about Ball Aerospace, go to ballaerospace.com, and you'll learn about what we did on Hubble, what we did on the Spitzer Space Telescope, our work on Kepler. Another thing that's interesting about Ball is we built the satellites that actually do the pictures for Google Maps and Google Earth. So
is that right?
Wow.
Cool. Look down as well as looking out.
Ballaerospace.com. John, thank you so much for being on with us. Fascinating stuff. Thank you for what you're doing. You are making this world a better place. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's a lot of fun.
All right. We'll be right back.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lillian Wu. The president expressing condolences to the families of hostages killed in a counterterrorism operation.